Imagine not knowing where you will sleep tonight. Now imagine finding a place to sleep and standing in line for hours to get into this place, only to find out when you get to the door that there's no room left and you'll have to stay the night outside in a tent in the freezing cold. Well, this happens more often than you think. Families and children are the fastest growing group of the homeless. They make up 40% of the homeless population. They account for 40% of those who become homeless in a year. 35% of families that are homeless live in emergency or transitional shelters, and the remainder live in motels, cars, camps, or any other inadequate situation. According to the National Law Center on Homeless and Poverty, 40% of homeless people have been that way for about 6 months. 70% have been homeless for just under 2 years. Now let's take a closer look at those numbers. On any given night, 744,000 people are homeless. 77,000 people are homeless on any given night. And as I said before, 40% are families. 40% of homeless men have served in the armed forces, and 42% are children under the age of 6. And just last year, a baby was born in Vancouver, Washington, in a homeless camp at temperatures below 0. Now, when I started the speech, I said, can you imagine being homeless for the night? Can you imagine being homeless and giving birth to a child in a camp outdoors somewhere with no doctor, no hospital, no nurse, and no drugs? Not appealing. Now let's kind of look at the amount of time the average person is homeless. The length of time of homelessness varies. Transitionally homeless people have at least one episode of average of 58 days of being homeless. Now, episodically homeless people have 4 to 5 days of homelessness for an average of 265 days. And chronically homeless people have 1 to 2 episodes of homelessness. 1 to 2 episodes of homelessness for 690 days. That's a lot of days. That's pretty much your 2 years of homelessness. And again, think back to where we talked about being homeless for one night. Can you imagine being homeless for 2 years, or just not knowing where you're going to sleep tonight? Our society will eventually have to pay for the consequences for this situation. The experience of homelessness inhibits physical, emotional, cognitive, social, and behavioral development of children. And children are our future, so what affects our children will affect us eventually. Approximately 1.1 million children will never graduate from high school. Probably will never even make it to high school. And with the growing number of recession, with the growing number of homeless families from recession, unemployment, eviction, foreclosures, these numbers will definitely accelerate. There are a couple of programs in place right now. One of the programs is the Homeless Prevention and Rapid Rehousing Program. Now, this is a federal program that has helped 600,000 Americans avoid homelessness so far. Another program is Funders Together. And Funders Together is a national network of foundations and corporations supporting strategic, effective, and grant making to end homelessness. But more still needs to be done. What can you do to decrease homelessness? You can volunteer. Volunteer to be an advocate, to increase local, state, and national resources for homeless shelters. And you can also support housing programs services that have mental health, treatment, physical health care, educational employment skills training, peer support, and daily living and money management skills. In conclusion, in summary, families with children are the fastest growing group of homeless people. And much work still needs to be done to keep this situation from getting out of control. Volunteering your time and making a donation provides the most effective way to help.